Happy to be joined with the co-founder and chief operating officer of Mydecine Innovations Group. Damon Michaels joins us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great today. Thank you, Shad. Appreciate your time, and thank you for having me.
Looks like you're at a place that I'd like to be. Where are we located?
Still on U.S. soil, but currently I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah. You've been spending a lot of time there over the past year with COVID and everything?
It's a good place to hide away and social distance from the United States a little bit. Yeah.
I'm sure. So listen, we've been having some conversations. We've been following you guys closely. We had obviously Josh on a couple of weeks back, but one thing that we're learning quickly is Mydecine is becoming one of the emerging biotech and life science companies in the space. A perfect example of that is last week, there was a poll on Reddit's investor group, Shroom Stocks, asking investors who they thought were the leaders in the space, and you were one of them. So for those that want to learn more about Mydecine Innovations Group and why you're considered a leader in the space, explain to us more about your business model and the overall vision you have as a company.
Sure. Yeah, it's actually quite simple, Shad. We're dedicated to take a holistic approach toward making alternative medicine traditional medicine by focusing on heavily on drug development paired with unique delivery systems, while conducting clinical trials for the many safe and effective active and medicinal compounds found within fungi or mushrooms, of course, within a legitimate environment. We've also established the first and only certified CGMP global supply chain for psychedelic medicinal mushrooms. And we've also launched our own digital telehealth app, which is, of course, dedicated to psychedelic therapy to help increase and complement our overall efforts. So,
one of the things I noticed about the company is, it's important if you're investing into this industry, the type of research that's being conducted by companies and obviously how far they've advanced along. You have a fully diluted market cap of around $100 million, which is less versus, say, other companies in the space that are conducting phase 2 trials like yourself. Why do you think that is? And what should investors, you think, read into this?
sure. I kind of let the facts speak for themselves. Across the market, people keep saying that we're the most undervalued stock there is in
Yeah.
the psychedelic sector. I feel like the value that we are currently building is of course gonna shine through. Once people really understand what's going on here behind the scenes.
Why would you say, in addition to the capital market side from a pure business fundamentals, because you're the chief operating officer, you probably get this question asked all the time, but what would you say is the number one thing that differentiates you from other players in the space?
Sure. Per your first question, definitely, there's a few differentiators there alone. But from a core element, Mydecine's really doing the day in, the day out groundwork to really build a strong and reliable, trustworthy company, which is really focused on, developing things that, from a fundamental standpoint, matter to others versus just, targeting short-term monetary gains. We really care about the food, fiber, and medicinal balance of that fungi brings to life here on Earth. And now it's our responsibility, that we make sure that we push forward the science-backed education, the medicine and health conscious products into the market to really help sustain life. And that's, our core values, I think, backed by, the fundamentals that we built with over the last course of this year, I think really makes us stand out.
What are some of the things, because you've been in existence now for a little over 12 months, approaching, a year since, this whole industry has like taken off. And again, you're carving out, your place in the industry for like fungi for human wellness, amongst other things with some of the technology as well. But, when I have some of these people on, it's interesting, some of the stuff that I hear and some of the research that's being conducted and early on, some of the results that are taking place that are really eye-opening. Are there things that you've seen as you study this medicine more and more over the past 12 months that have really grabbed your attention that maybe people could learn from?
Yeah, there's a ton, and there's plenty more to uncover. I mean, we initially, we want to prove that our company has what it takes to be a leader in the biopharma space, and by
Yeah.
doing that, we've really made it our focus to tackle the challenging process to achieve breakthrough federal status, for the public to finally understand and accept that psilocybin-based treatment really is safe and effective for most people to help them overcome, such mental injuries such as PTSD, addiction, depression, just to name a few. Through our exclusive partnership with API Alone, Applied Pharmaceutical Innovations, which is hosted out of the University of Alberta, we're able to discover a lot of the missing data that researchers have been trying to solve and uncover for quite some time. And of course, that's going to help us really build out our IP portfolio and really turn the nature source and synthetic psilocybin into federally approved drugs and therapy. So, once we have, successfully done that, over the course of, the next several years, there's going to be a lot of short-term successes and of course long-term successes. But as we really start to, manage, the overall engagement of Mydecine as a biopharma company, I really envision the company being able to really branch out and focus on the many other benefits that mushrooms and mycelium could really help us achieve on a global scale.
Yeah.
So whether that's creating a specific branch to focus on sustainability and microremediation. Microremediations, simply put, utilizing mushrooms or mycelium to help extract different things out of the soil,
Yeah.
for instance, such as radiation or any other types of potential toxins or poisons that might be within. Other things, I might be focusing heavily, on our non-psychedelic functional gourmet mushroom side of the company to really help enhance, people's vitality. And then, even going and stretching as far as, maybe to help others explore the infinite possibilities of mushrooms. Like, I don't know if you've seen to help astronauts with deep space travel and utilizing mushrooms to just literally eat the radiation as they travel through space. And then the astronauts are able to feed off those mushrooms. Of course, that's not a current goal for Mydecine, but
Can I ask how something like that even starts?
Yeah.
Like that's a fascinating story, but where does that even begin?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of initial research uncovered by other fellow passionate mycologists and people within the field
Yeah.
that really understand the different types of unique mushrooms and mold and fungus that are able to target such things as radiation, and that's kind of going back to the term microremediation, where we are able to prove here on Earth that it's able to literally eat radiation and reproduce itself. And when a human consumes that mushroom, the radiation's gone. It ate it, it digested it, and it's no longer a thing. So it creates a food source at the end of the day, and it's a closed loop cycle, which is sustainable. So we're hoping that once we start to uncover these unique types of fungi and how to find the best species for that through our mycology lab in Denver, that we hope to maybe have those conversations with Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the Richard Branchons of the world as they look at deep space travel for their own specific projects.
That's incredible. Fascinating information. Important to know, licensed through Health Canada, imported, first company basically to import correct me if I'm wrong, but it was psilocybin mushrooms to your GMP facility. You work with the University of Alberta, which, from my understanding, what I learned from Josh last week, is one of the leading research institutions in the world. So, as you're looking into this again as an investor within this space and trying to understand what companies to invest in and what companies are building a proper storyline behind it all, these are important, obviously, partnerships, and partnerships is crucial, obviously, in this industry. How did a lot of this come to fruition? How did it all begin?
The partnerships are great. I mean, that was the first thing we went and set forth to do within Mydecine. We kept our heads down. We weren't, heavily focused on just trying to really exploit and blow up our name within, the public market scene, even though we are a publicly traded company. And of course, there's a lot of value there, but we really wanted to, prove ourselves, not just to, essentially have a PowerPoint, but really have true fundamentals to go out and show the world, what Mydecine's capable of doing. So before Mydecine started, Josh, Rob, and myself, we've all come from strong backgrounds of industry, different types of industry.
Yeah.
And so when Mydecine was formed and founded, we finally had the vehicle that we needed to plug a lot of our resources and incredible people and networks and different companies that really believed in us as individuals to finally kind of plug them into and work with. And a few of those connections were, of course, with API through the University of Alberta.
Yeah.
And then, of course, through our contacts and friends down in Jamaica, Josh, Rob, and myself, and even Nikolai, who founded MindLeap.
Right.
We all went down to Jamaica the first week after they opened up their borders after the COVID lockdown, to strictly do a business trip, go around the island and find, the best people to work with down there. And of course, talk to the people in ministry and really help to develop our initial infrastructure and capabilities down there. Not only because Jamaica is a legal environment around psilocybin mushrooms, but also because there's a lot of uniqueness to those mushrooms, and also because of the scalability that we have down there. and also from a cost-effective perspective, it all kind of made sense. And so once we were able to establish ourselves there, we were then able to, move forward with, figuring out the import-export capabilities through Jamaica up into Canada to our facility at API. And then, of course, being able to do all the research, development, processing, and
It's incredible.
commercialization from there.
That's incredible. You mentioned Nikolai Vasev, who created MindLeap, the technology that you guys have, one of your pillars within your company that you acquired last fall. So let's talk about your technologies. As I said, MindLeap. Last 12 months, let's face it, there's been an increased importance and need for telehealth. You have patients obviously trying to avoid hospital rooms right now. And as a result, you have a growing number of people that have turned to telehealth for the comfort of their homes. So based off of that, you have this online app, as I said, MindLeap, which is an online tele app support system. Tell me how it works and how it fits into your overall business strategy.
Sure. No, great question. We love MindLeap. Where it was then to where it is now has been a significant leap, no pun intended,
Yeah.
on the overall approach of the app and the technology. But it's incredible, and it's incredibly valuable for people. I mean, we saw the potential of how MindLeap or digital health would fit into the grand scheme of Mydecine right away when we were first approached by it through Nikolai. And you see, Mydecine is really a company that is not only very unique in itself based off its sheer fundamentals, but it's also unique in the fact that we created the company at the very beginning of COVID when the pandemic lockdowns first started to happen. So this told us right away that we had no choice but to overcome the unprecedented hurdles and to really just adapt. And MindLeap was really the perfect fit as the world moves into the new age of telemedicine. So we knew that it was going to be perfect for the ecosystem that we're building here at Mydecine. And then as of course you have the psychedelic experience, undergoing the treatment of a psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, there really is a physical reaction when the compounds from the psychedelic mushrooms bind to different receptors in your brain. And it's essentially a mind reset or a brain reset to help you get back on track. And after this occurs, really the healing process is followed by further back-end therapy that can help be done remotely through managing post-care therapy between the patient and the specialist, which we made possible through MindLeap Health. This platform will not only help the general public, it's also going to help our Mydecine manage its overall clinical trials to better collect data and achieve results better than we ever could before versus traditional practice. So the revenue from MindLeap is going to be significant to the company as well, which we're also obviously geared to keep everything sustained as a whole. And we have an entire management team dedicated to MindLeap. So we're able to still focus on the big things here at Mydecine while our team at MindLeap is cranking away on a daily basis to make sure that platform is also successful and it fits right into the overall evolvement of things.
Yeah, I can't help but feel this is one of your business models that's going to grow exponentially because as people start to understand the medicine more, and if they're doing it remotely, it's going to be crucial, obviously, to have the right resources and access from like professionals at any given time, which, you know, many industries are obviously like that now. But I
Yeah.
look at, when you talk about access to like different medical teams, one of the big things that I'm learning more and more speaking to different companies within this space is who's your medical team? Who's your research team? Who are they? Can I get an understanding of it all? Everybody likes to claim that they have the leading researchers and doctors within their companies, but let's face it, the ones that are leaders in this space have connections, obviously, with the FDA, Health Canada. But maybe talk to me about the team that you form from a medical perspective, and what obviously people that are investors or potential investors should learn about you.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Chad, as you know, a company is only as strong as its core team and
Yeah.
its values. Which is why shortly after Josh, Rob, and myself founded the company, just a year ago, we really took the time to make sure that we handpicked the best person for each role that they're really dedicated to, and but also have the ability to wear multiple hats, to scale up from the startup environment to finally allow us to, play into the big leagues as we're transitioning to right now. Each person really makes up the heart and soul of Mydecine, just as equally and dedicated, as passionate as we are. Rob, Josh, and myself. So we're all very aligned as far as we know that the power of the strength of mushrooms and the psychedelic medicine that we're promoting is very important, and so we're all aligned there, just on that level. And then from there, we're obviously able to branch out and do what we do best, based off our backgrounds, experience, and skill sets, to help support the company in any way possible. And then after acquisition of Neuropharm, which shortly after that we transitioned Dr. Rakesh Jetley, to become our chief medical officer. Dr. Jetley as you and I have talked, prior, he was, he just retired from a 31-year career from the Canadian Armed Forces as head of psychiatry. So he's very well informed in the
Wow.
background of psychiatry and just, pure experience. Education's met with thousands of people, especially veterans that are dealing with what we're focusing on here at Mydecine, which is PTSD and how to combat that utilizing psilocybin therapy and treatment, of course. And so he's an incredible asset to the team and just a really good, genuine person. Could not have been happier for that addition to come into play. And
It's
then Dr.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Fascinating. When I see people, their backgrounds, resumes, what they've been working on, and how they're getting involved in this space, it's incredible to see.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely one of those guys that you could tell he's just an all-star, a rock star, if you will, of all the things that he comes to the table with, and he's very methodical in our approach toward this, and
But that gives you a test of the times, don't you think, Damon? Like you have like people still questioning, does this really work? It's still interesting. It's like, definitely people are still skeptical because it's brand new. But what I mean by that is people with 30, 31 years of experience in psychiatry that are making the change to come over to here. So obviously there's something there that people have obviously are intrigued, right?
Definitely. I mean, put it this way, Dr. Jetley was already focusing on psilocybin-based treatments back in as early as 2009, publicly, and of course, trying to understand how to implement that through what he was trying to achieve by helping, veterans and people he was working with or his patients to help, overcome, these different types of mental injuries with psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy. He's been leading the charge with clinical trials for Mydecine now, and is also, which we're conducting at multiple international sites. But I mean, himself, along with the scientific advisory board that he brought along with himself to really create the dream team of doctors, professors, researchers who have literally written the books on PTSD and veterans and how they hope to now accomplish their mission by utilizing the use of psychedelic therapy is really something that we're excited about. We're all going to be developing that together. But I mean, at the same time, we are doing a lot of fact finding and finding the best protocols to implement this type of medicine and therapy into the minds. And I mean, to obviously overall better help people. This is
Yeah.
the safest form of psychedelic therapy that exists. It has no negative reactions. You can't, there's no overdosing from it. It's a very, you could have a very, you know, insane experience. But as far as things like death, similar to how we saw back in cannabis, to truly overdose it, is
Yeah.
not something that we've seen medically, at least. So it's a very safe and effective medicine. So be able to to pair that with the best minds that are going after these types of treatments. I think that we're really going to be uncovering, what I stated earlier, by making alternative medicine traditional medicine through these practices.
It's great. Damon, I really appreciate you taking the time. This has been a well thought out, interview explaining who you are. Congrats, on the development. I know it's been probably around 12 months now since Mydecine launched. You've
Correct.
already filed your application for the NASDAQ, which if and when that happens later this year, it's going to prevent tremendous growth. Currently trade right now on the Canadian Security Exchange under the ticker symbol MYCO, but we'll be moving over to the NEO Stock Exchange, correct?
That's correct. In fact, a couple other recent additions, just to give them a shout out, to the team, or Gordon Neal and Josephine Wu, who now sit on the board of directors as independents. We're about to scale up, with them from our startup environment. And we plan to uplist those senior exchanges like the NEO Exchange here very soon. But we're also looking to list to the London Stock Exchange and also the NASDAQ within this year, which we've already filed the applications for. So
It's great.
both Gordon and Joe, have incredible backgrounds, running successful multi-billion-dollar private and public companies, have been, I really have a deep understanding for the public market, have a very intelligent way of looking at things. They have an incredibly strong business acumen, and have also have significant pull when it comes to raising capital, which are all valuable things to us. So,
That's
we
great.
know we've built the best team, which is over, expanding or ever expanding every month. And yeah, truly help to turn Mydecine's goals into reality. So we're
It's
very
great.
excited about
Keep up
this.
the great work. I applaud obviously you and your team for making a difference because I'm sure this means a lot to you guys all personally as well as you make a difference. But let's keep in touch. Make sure to wear lots of sunblock out there today. It looks pretty nice out there. And again, appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us here today.
Thank you, Shad. I really appreciate your time as well. And I really urge the viewers, the readers, the listeners today to visit our website, Mydecine.com. Check out our presentation on there to learn more about Mydecine's fundamentals and our team, of course. And then the app that we mentioned earlier, Mind Leap Health, is currently available on iOS and Android, available for download today. So
That's great. All right, Damon, I appreciate your time.
thank you, Shad.
Okay.
Appreciate you as well. Talk soon.
Take care.